Brooklyn Tours, and I have with me Jack Keum. On Made in Brooklyn Tours, we see creative businesses, we visit creative businesses and individuals, and we go and visit businesses like iMaker, where Jack is a manager in Brooklyn, New York. And the way I came to know Jack was from a design festival at Industry City, and this would have been May of last year. So I remember just cruising the halls of Industry City, and I happened to notice all of these 3D printed trinkets outside of a door. And at the time, you were closed, and that later on resulted in us developing a relationship. And now you're on the Made in Industry City tour. I'd like to, ask you to kind of give us a little background about yourself and how you found yourself at iMaker. That would be helpful.
Sure, sure. First of all, thank you for having me on. Uh, as you mentioned, my name is Jack, and I am a manager here in iMaker. And so my first experience with 3D printing date back to my university time, where we have 3D printers in the lab where we can use the 3D printers to make anything for our own project. And that's really how I got started with 3D printing. And that was back in a couple of years ago, and it's back then it's not really a great machine, but it still do the job. So yeah, so after I finished my university, but that was back in the UK, and reach out to this company called iMaker, which is still the company I'm working right now, and they hired me, and yeah, 2 years working over there, and they sent me over here in New York. So I've been here since then.
So iMaker is based in the UK, and they have an office in Brooklyn in Industry City. And can you tell us a little bit about what iMaker does and how?
Yeah.
Last night I was talking to somebody, and they're like, "Well, what's the difference between iMaker and a hackerspace?"
So iMaker, it's one of the quite unique shop, I would say. So we started as just selling 3D printers. iMaker has been around since, if I remember correctly, it's 2014 or 2015. And um, so iMaker started in London, in the UK. And in 2015 or 2016, the owner decided to open a branch office, a branch shop in Manhattan. And and in about 2.5 years ago, we have moved to Brooklyn, because we see there's much more opportunity over here. So our business has been always focusing on reselling the machines, try to bring 3D printers from all around the world, choose the best, and sell it and bring it to consumers, small businesses, and even schools, and just try to inspire the new generation of using 3D printers. And as the business goes, we realize that there's also a big demand for 3D printing services such as print on demand, design on demand, and even 3D scanning on demand. So right now, our business is really split into half-half. Half of our business is selling the machines, and at the same time, because we are so familiar with the machines that we sell, we use them to um, provide service to everyone.
Great. So you do different projects. So you're doing a lot of services, and I think a big part of your business now is services, and you do a lot of customization as well, right? So maybe you could tell us a little bit about some of your most interesting projects. Um, I know I don't want you to divulge any customers, but maybe you could tell us about
Yeah,
their requests and a little bit about that.
people using 3D printers to make PPE for hospitals. And when we realized that that is something that we could do as well, we jump in immediately, and yeah, and we've been doing something. Um, we've been printing a lot of PPE for the hospitals, and because we have many printers in stock, we actually pull out about 50 machines from our stock to mass produce PPE for the hospitals. And I can show you real quick how PPE looks like.
So that's a technical
So,
term. What does
so,
PPE stand for?
so PPE stands for personal protective equipment, and it can be anywhere from goggles to face masks to a face shield. And this is a face shield that we use 3D printer to create.
Okay. So before you go too much in detail with that, I want to talk about the story behind it, like the backstory, because the
No
way,
problem.
I mean, I had a very, very small role. I received a call from you. I think I got a text message from you late on March 22nd. That was the date. And you were looking for materials, you were looking for a laser cutting service, and you were calling around for different places. And I would like to know how you got to the point where you were reaching out to people like me to find these
Yeah.
supplies and services.
Yeah, sure. So in order to make this face shield, it requires a couple components. So the first thing is the 3D printed part, and the second part is the transparent part,
Hmm.
the protective. Um, I'll just call this the shield.
The shield.
So
Yeah.
and the last part is the elastic band at the back.
Hmm.
So we need three components to make this happen. And when it comes to the 3D printed piece and the elastic band, we have a way to solve that. That's no problem. But what we really need help is the shield. And um, because of the New York State is asking all the non-essential business to close down, we have problem solving the components we need to make this happen, to make to source all the components together. And immediately I thought of you, because you have you work in your industry for some time, and you know a lot of different people from different industries, and you immediately come to my mind that you might know someone that could help us source the part. So I reached out immediately.
Hmm. So did this come from a demand? So, or was it just that you realized that that a demand would materialize? Did like a hospital reach out to you or some other organization reach out to you first?
No, so we had a very initial. We have an estimate of how many pieces are we going to make to donate to hospitals. We have um, abundant of materials for other parts, but when it comes to this one, we know very initially that we will get into a point that we will need it. Initially, we bought some of this transparent, you know, the shield from Staples. The Staples that actually have these sort of material that goes underneath the projector, the old style projector, where you can write something on the transparent sheet,
I remember
and the
them.
projector will project light to the wall. Yeah. So initially we were using that as the shield, but there's a very limited quantity we can buy from it because of the technology is just so outdated, and the stock they have in Staples is so limited. So we bought about a couple of hundreds from Staples, and at that point I realized that if we are getting a lot of demand, we will actually need a huge amount of these shields.
Because obviously you're not 3D printing that material, that clear material. So you needed to find a source for the material, and you also needed to find a service to actually cut the material so it could fit into that headband, right?
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly, yeah.
So how did you put
So
together the team?
so um, so when we first doing this, we also reach out to different companies and organizations, including where we are here, Industry City. Um, and Industry City immediately jumped on board and told us that they could help us make this happen.
Hmm.
The way they were helping us is two ways. One is provide us to build a 3D printer farm. And the second one is to reach out to all the tenants that could potentially being part of this to help us out.
Hmm.
Um, Immediately, we got a lot of responses from different companies within Industry City that just jump on board and help us out. So there's this company called Fabers. Fabers has laser color in their facility and also some shields available. Um, and immediately they just jump in and help us out. And also the other company called uh, RBW, stands for Rich, Willing, Brilliant. So Rich, Brilliant, and Willing.com. And they are also a big player in this. And thanks to them, we are able to produce this face shield with all the components ready very quickly, very early on, and help us to actually, manage to distribute to different hospitals.
These are images from the GoFundMe page. So,
Hmm.
maybe what you could do is describe, what we're looking at as I scroll through them. So what's going on over here?
Okay, sure. So this is actually a pictures from the hospital. Um, let me let me just take out the name. This is actually New York Presbyterian Morgan Stanley Hospitals. This is up in Uptown Manhattan, very close to I think it's Harlem area.
Hmm.
Um, Basically, what happened is um, they reach out to us very early on and um, ask for 100 face shield for because they are really running out and they really need um, some protective equipment for the nurses. And immediately we are able to deliver to them. And I actually didn't expect they would take such a nice pictures and send it back to us. So it's really nice to see that.
Cool. And what about this one here?
So yeah, we realized that it's not just the nurses and the doctors that need personal equipment. So we also immediately produce. We actually take out some of our portions of our output and send it to local police stations. Um, this is precinct 72, just a couple of streets from our office. And yeah, we have delivered some to them, and they're very happy to take them.
And this is obviously the actual bands themselves. Um, I'm not sure if you said already, but how many did you actually produce up to this point?
So we have donated more than 1,000 and less than 3,000. Between 1,000 to 3,000 pieces. I've sort of lost track to that because we just every day we just produce as much as possible and send it out as much as possible.
Got you. And let me bring up another one here. Um, this one here.
Yep, this is NYU Langone. I think it's uh, on the 61st Street in Brooklyn. Yeah, so this is another batch that we have delivered. And this actually, when we delivered this, um, immediately after we have delivered them, and there was a car just pull on the side, and there was another people taking another box of like coffee and food. So it's nice to see everyone try to do something, donate stuff to hospitals, frontline workers at times like this.
Who received the face shields first?
Yeah, sure. The first hospital that got this actually from St. Barnabas Hospital in the Bronx. So when we first doing this, we know what we're doing. We know how to make the first batch happen, but we didn't really know who to give it to in the very beginning. So, but luckily that we went to our one of the group on Facebook, and there was a bunch of doctors and nurses from all around the world actually go there and tell the world that where they're from and what they need. And I found this doctor from St. Barnabas hospitals, and yeah, they got the first dip.
That's awesome. I'm actually on your GoFundMe page right now, and I put as a banner the link to the GoFundMe page. So what's the, and this is the, let me put it full screen here. This is the server farm. Printer farm, how many printers altogether you said?
So over here in the US, we have about 50 printers. What you're seeing right now, this is actually the print farm in the UK.
Okay.
Funny enough, when we first done the first batch for St. Barnabas hospitals, our team in the UK immediately jump in and say we want to do the same for the UK hospitals because there's shortage all around the world for PPE. And my team in the UK has actually built 200 printers, 4 times bigger operation compared to us, to make thousands of the face shield and send it to NHS hospitals in the UK.
Huh. Wow, that's awesome. That's a great story. So it really kind of, it started here in Brooklyn, and then
Yeah,
it reached into the UK, and now the NHS is going to be contracting out to you and buying them. So
yeah, it's really nice that we are always looking for a way for 3D printer to be relevant in the real world, because we believe that 3D printers will one day change the way everyone manufactures stuff, and this is a very good opportunity for us to show the world what a 3D printer can do. When you have a mass manufactured factory got paralyzed, 3D printer it's there to um, save the world basically.
yeah, yeah. Well, it's definitely growing, and you're getting a lot of publicity too, right? So I'm seeing when I went online to check on this, I saw that even I think just a day ago, you're getting a lot of publicity from different news outlets here and other parts of the world too, right?
Yeah,
Some people don't understand the concept of how a commercial enterprise like iMaker uses GoFundMe, and maybe you could explain a little bit about that. Why does a commercial enterprise? I know why, but I'd like you to say it in your own words. Why
yeah,
you would
sure.
ask for it?
So again, when we started doing this, really, it's first of all, it's because of the virus. It's really like taking a toll on the business. So we have totally almost lost all the sales, the ongoing sales, and also the very, there's some sales that were almost like closed them, but because of this virus, we just lost the business. Um, so at the same time, we wanted to help out with the local hospital with the equipment we have, and there's only so much we can put our money on this to make this happen. Um, and so we put on the GoFundMe page so that anyone that wants to contribute, everyone that wants to help out but don't know how to help out. So we create a platform for everyone to have an opportunity to be a part of this, to help us out to help the hospital workers.
Awesome. You're at Industry City. You're on 34th Street. Industry City is a huge complex, so I thought I'd put this up so that people could see exactly where you are. And here's a map. So you're very close to the R train, the 36th Street station. So that's the best way to go and visit you. And what's next at this point?
So we are still continue doing the facial, and it's not very clear what the next step is. So, as you might know, like how the current testing works, you have a swab that you put it into your nose. and to collect some of the samples, some of the fluid inside your nostril, and use that for testing. And what the government lacking right now is the swab. And the 3D printing actually is capable of printing the swab as well. And we are in the process of working with the government to see if they want to help us out with sourcing the medical grade 3D printer to make swap for them. So that could be something big coming up. I will keep you up to date on that.
I hooked you up with Brooklyn Beauty Fashion Labo. They're on 7th Street between 4th and 5th Avenue in Park Slope. And they have a co-working space that they're building out over there. So, what's your plans for exposing us to 3D print, the world of 3D printing there?
Yeah, sure. So we are always looking for ways to expand our operation, and we want to um, um, introduce as much people, designers and artists as possible with 3D printing, and we are going to have a couple of printers in BBFL, so people can actually play with the 3D printers and hopefully use 3D printers to be a part of their manufacturing process.
Awesome. Well, listen, went a little bit over, a little over time, and we had a little technical difficulties in the beginning. I hope this sounded good. You're coming through my speaker, my desktop speaker, into the microphone. So thank you very much, and I hope this continues to grow. And thanks for doing such a great job. And I'm going to be doing more of these types of interviews in the future and getting the hang of the technology because this is very new to me as well. But I just wanted to thank you very much and stay healthy, stay safe, and I'll see you soon on the tour when this is all
Yeah,
over.
yeah. Thanks for having me, Dom. Take care.
You're welcome. Have a great day.